While wrestlers try to make it seem like they want to destroy each other, their real goal is to put on a good show and make sure both themselves and their opponent don't get hurt. Wrestlers look out for each other, and we've seen career-ending injuries avoided thanks to quick thinking. Braun Strowman's last match in WWE nearly ended with him becoming paralyzed. Minutes into the fight, Strowman performed a senton onto Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. The Monster Among Men didn't get enough momentum, and his head was headed straight for the floor. Luckily, Drew McIntyre adjusted Strowman's body so he landed on his shoulder. The SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks, had her first title defense of 2021 at the Royal Rumble. Even though her opponent was the most beautiful woman in the world, Carmella, the match nearly turned ugly. Carmella went for a suicide dive, but something went wrong and she nearly landed headfirst on the floor. Thanks to Banks grabbing her, Carmella didn't over-rotate and saved her from a serious head injury. Sasha can even be seen asking Carmella if she's okay after the dive. Dangerous no matter where they happen. On an episode of AEW Rampage, Darby Allin was having a match with The Butcher. Allin went for his signature suicide dive, but the timing was off and Allin went crashing into the metal barricade. Thankfully, Darby Allin walked it off like nothing had happened and continued wrestling. That likely wouldn't have been the case if Butcher hadn't caught Allin and slowed his momentum down. Also, Chris Jericho, who was on commentary, covered this character-breaking moment really well.
Did you see the Butcher kind of guide Darby's head into that fence as well?
On an episode of Raw in 2000, Christian and Devon were going one-on-one. Edge and Bubba Ray Dudley kept getting involved, leading to a post-match battle. Matt and Jeff Hardy came running out to join the chaos, leading to Matt and Devon going through a table. Seconds before that happened, a chair was laying on the table. Edge quietly removed the weapon to prevent his fellow wrestlers from injuring themselves. This is a prime example of why fast thinking can be the difference between a wrestler going home or going to the hospital. In 2021, Mustafa Ali and Matt Riddle were feuding with each other. This resulted in a match between the two on Raw. The finish was going to be Ali hitting Riddle with a backstabber from the top rope. Their positioning was off, so in midair, Ali moved to prevent his knees from coming down on Riddle. Had Mustafa Ali not done this match likely would have ended very differently. The St. Patrick's Day Slam edition of AEW Dynamite featured a massive 10-man tag team match. Bodies were flying all over the ring, and the match nearly turned serious. One of the wrestlers in the match, Marco Stunt, was thrown too hard to the outside. Luckily, the Butcher was able to catch Marco, saving him from crashing headfirst onto the floor. Mascarita Sagrada is a legendary luchador, but his career nearly came to an abrupt end. In 2014, Sagrada was wrestling a match against a man named Son of Havoc. Havoc was accompanied by a woman named Ivelisse. She got herself involved in the match by attacking Mascarita Sagrada while the referee wasn't looking. When Mascarita saw an opportunity for payback, he took it and hit Ivelisse with a suicide dive. Either Ivelisse was too far away or Mascarita Sagrada didn't get enough speed because the luchador was inches away from slamming onto the hard floor. Luckily, Ivelisse caught Sagrada and broke his fall and probably saved him from a career-ending injury. The Money in the Bank ladder match is one of the most exciting, but also most dangerous matches in WWE each year. That's why it's good to have veterans part of the match, and Kane proved that in 2010. The Devil's Favorite Demon was trying to reach the briefcase when Dolph Ziggler interfered. This is supposed to lead to a spot where Kane threw Ziggler over the top rope. Things didn't go as planned, and Dolph's leg got caught in the rope. The Big Red Machine quickly saw what had happened and got the show-off out of there, preventing Ziggler from injuring his left leg. 4 years later, at the same event, someone else would be inches away from a bad injury. In the closing moments of the 2014 Money in the Bank ladder match, Dean Ambrose was about to win the contract. Funny enough, it was Kane who ran in and prevented the Lunatic Fringe from grabbing the briefcase. Of course, the Big Red Machine's arrival was signaled by a blast of fire. Zeb Coulter, who was Jack Swagger's manager, didn't seem to know this was going to happen and was standing right below one of the ring posts. Luckily, a WWE referee grabbed Coulter and got him out of the way seconds before the fire went off. Ironically, a few years later, the roles would be reversed. In the main event of Raw, Randy Orton was wrestling a match against AJ Styles. Just as the Viper was getting ready to hit the RKO, Alexa Bliss appeared on the screen. She then lit a match, which caused fire to shoot out of the ring posts. In a blink and you'll miss it moment, Randy Orton signals for the referee to move away from the ring posts. Thankfully, the referee understood and walked away without being harmed. Early on in his career, Chris Jericho had several moments where he came close to suffering a serious injury. Thankfully, he worked with experienced individuals who helped keep him safe. Fans witnessed this happen on WCW Saturday Night. Jericho was wrestling a fellow cruiserweight, Alex Wright, and as you'd expect, the two had a fast-paced, athletic match. At one point, Chris Jericho went to perform the lionsault, but didn't get enough momentum to complete the move. Luckily for Y2J, Wright was able to catch him and cushion the landing, preventing Jericho from suffering a head or neck injury. On an episode of Raw in 2021, the United States Champion, Damian Priest, was set to defend his title against Apollo Crews. Everything was going smoothly, and the two were putting on a pretty good show. The match nearly turned ugly when Priest and Crews went to the outside. Damian did a flip off the ring steps, but either he didn't get enough speed or Apollo wasn't close enough, because the United States Champion almost landed on his neck. Luckily, Crews caught his opponent and was able to gently guide him to the floor. The suicide dive is an awesome move, but there's a reason it's called that. Mike Awesome and Spike Dudley had an incredible but brutal match at ECW's Guilty as Charged pay-per-view. One of the many insane moves that was performed was a suicide dive. Spike went to hit Mike Awesome with the move, but his feet got caught in the rope. Awesome acted fast and caught his opponent, and it's a really good thing that he did. ECW did not have mats on the floor, meaning Spike Dudley would have landed headfirst on cement. This moment goes to show how important clear communication and timing are in wrestling. During the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 35, Luke Harper and Mustafa Ali were fighting near the edge of the ring. The plan was for Harper to lift up Ali and Braun Strowman to eliminate both of them, but Strowman missed his cue. Harper and Ali eventually had to let go and try again. Braun was ready this time, but he kicked Luke Harper before Harper and Ali were properly set up. Thankfully, Harper was able to rotate Mustafa Ali, so Ali landed on his back. Had Luke Harper not done this, Mustafa would have likely broken his neck. During the main event of WrestleMania 12, Bret Hart proved why he is worthy of being called the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. During their phenomenal 60-minute Iron Man match, Hart's opponent, Shawn Michaels, hit Bret with a crossbody from the top turnbuckle to the outside. HBK overshot it and almost collided with the steel barricade. Bret Hart managed to grab Shawn's body and guide him away from the barricade, saving Michaels' head from smacking into solid steel. WWE legend Bam Bam Bigelow had a troubled past. As a teenager, Bigelow was arrested and spent time in a correctional facility. While Bigelow wasn't perfect, he was far from a bad person. An example of this can be seen when Bam Bam, Kevin Sullivan, and Cactus Jack, aka Mick Foley, teamed up to take on 3 enhancement talents. This match took place during a time when wrestlers who weren't under contract were often not treated the best. The wrestlers who were under contract could be pretty rough with them in the ring. The enhancement talent would often just take it since they were hoping to get signed. This makes it even more heartwarming seeing what Bigelow did. The finish of the 3-on-3 tag team match saw one of the enhancement talents get flipped into the air, but something went wrong and the man almost landed on his head. Thanks to his strength and quick reflexes, Bam Bam Bigelow caught the wrestler in midair and saved him from a potentially career-ending injury. During a match against Goldberg, Undertaker was inches away from losing his life. To see that, watch this video on WWE wrestlers who almost died on live TV.